Hungry for SVRA action? Well, the best way to enjoy classic auto racing is with a delicious classic from Mission Foods. Green flag your race-watching snacks with Mission's mouth-watering race day recipes. Try some of our tasty tacos, piled high nachos, fresh chips with guac, and more. So gear up your ride and fuel up those stomachs with delicious Mission Foods. Now that's too fast, too tasty.
There's a challenging spirit within Honda. It gives us the courage to go faster and the thinking to make it real. Whether it looks like a truck, a sedan, or an SUV, inside is the heart of a race car.
Morning everyone, F4 America is about to get underway, and if you missed yesterday, well, we already had one race, two to come today in perfect conditions here in mid-Ohio. Now, yesterday's action saw this man, number 19, Michael Costello of the USA, winning in style. He put on a great performance and then came join me in the commentary booth. Same again, Michael?
Yeah, hopefully same again. We just have to put down laps like how I did yesterday. Hopefully build that gap up and it should be better.
All right, best of luck. Michael Costello leading the way for America. And this F4 championship, as we've said over the years, is a combination of young guys coming out of karting, moving up from karting into the first time using slick tires and these wings. So it's a completely different form of racing, but it's the first time they look like an Indy car or a Formula One car. And of course, this is the road to Formula One because it's an FIA super license scoring championship. So everything very important. Another good day also yesterday for Alex Berg on the podium, the Canadian. And we've got a combination of Canadians, Mexican drivers and USA drivers. Alex, same again, or are we going for the win? You need a win. You got a great result, your best ever yesterday.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I'm always looking for a win, always looking for a better result. We have a better starting place with P3 rather than P4 yesterday. I'm really looking forward to getting to an actual dry track this time rather than a drying track on rain tires. It was pretty fun yesterday, but I think I'm looking forward to an actual race today, so I'm looking forward to that.
Best of luck. Alex Berg, you won't miss the helmet, the big pink helmet of the Berg. He's out there, the iceberg they call him. We're going to see how Alex Berg gets on. A little further down, you've got DeFabis, also from the USA, Dietman, another American, and I want to get back a little bit further down the grid because, again, another Canadian, the man leading the championship but now under pressure, Patrick Woods-Toth. He, of course, is with the Crosslink, huge Crosslink Kiwi team, and really looking forward to see what he can do again. But now he's defending that title because there's a lot of guys like this man, the Brazilian come American. Cara got his best result yesterday. He's looking for a good result today. But the man I really want to turn to, I think could be one to watch. James Lawley, another Canadian, starting out this weekend, starting his career in F4. But the man I want to talk to you about is a young Australian come Brit. His name, Lewis Hodgson, and he was so close to getting second place yesterday. Last second you lost out. Can you do it today?
I mean, anything's possible in these races. Starting ninth is further back than we wanted to, but 7th was further back and we still made it stick then. So 2 spots further back today and maybe 2 spots finishing further today.
Now we're calling you an Aussie, you were born there, but what's the British flag?
My mum and dad are English and I'm dual citizen, so and my whole family's from the UK. So as much as I feel a part of Australia, I feel, really connected to my British roots and just love both countries so much,
Well, I'm British, so I'll say best of British to you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Have a good one. Look for the number 30 in that orange and grey colour scheme for Crosslink Kiwi Motorsport. A massive undertaking for Tina Larson, the team manager, and Gary Orton, who, of course, are from New Zealand. But they are the most successful team in this F4 series here in the Americas. But it's a real battle between them and the Jay Howard development team, another British team. Jay Howard, of course, a former IndyCar driver from Great Britain. So a lot to come for. Yesterday, interestingly enough, the winner I mentioned, Michael Costello, only scored half points because of the wet. They had to come in and get wet tyres, so it delayed the race. So therefore, only 12.5 points for the win. So, Costello gets the advantage of starting at the front because of that win, but he only got 12.5 points yesterday, so he'll want to do the same again and get the full 25. That's the latest. 2 races to come. I'll send it back to you, Ben Sissel, and Austin Hill, who's joining us in the booth.
Well, thank you very much, Jonathan. And ladies and gentlemen, that is how you do a grid walk. Jonathan Green there with some great information, talking to the drivers. I've got Austin Hill in the booth with me, the number 8 from Frankfort, Ohio, in the Soho Equipment Aluminum Trailers, Ferris Mowers, and Big Tex car. Austin, 72 degrees and sunny. You haven't seen this kind of weather all weekend here. I'm sure the drivers are excited. What are you thinking if you're one of the drivers in the cars?
Yeah, this is going to be a good session. We'll definitely be picking up pace. I think this next session that we have out, due to the weather being nicer, the track's going to be fully dry. I think this could be a better session for the weekend.
Yeah, I hope so. And it is like we could not have ordered up better weather right now. You're seeing the flags blowing there in the distance. You can see from the drones. The grass is green. They've had a lot of rain here lately. International GT is taking the checkered flag in their hour-long enduro. And I'm sure the F4 cars and drivers are itching to get out there. I have not heard yet from race control if they're going to do a standing start, but I do see out my window, I see the officials out there about ready to pull those lights out, so we might be able to see a standing start. We can see the teams up there getting ready to watch and spot for the drivers up there on Madness. Lots of fans coming out here. The beautiful thing about Mid-Ohio is we've been doing this event with SVRA since 1982, so a lot of the third generations now of spectators have kind of set their calendar to this event. And we have had a lot of spectators, even despite the weather. And now we should have a bunch of spectators as we look in there on Titus Sherlock. Now, you've spent some time in these F4 cars. Is that right, Austin?
No, I actually did not do F4. I went a different route. I did FRP last year. I did the FR America's car in FRP. I also did the old USF 2000 cars. It was the 2014 USF 2000 car. We ran that for 2 years. But I didn't run F4 because I had other commitments last year with WRL, running endurance races for teams and doing other racing. And honestly, we already had the other cars bought to race last season. And so with those other commitments, it just didn't seem very feasible to have to get rid of the cars or bow out of those other commitments to race F4 with how many commitments we already had going.
So you've done, I know you're in the FR class, but you've done some open wheel, but you've also done some sedan racing and WRL racing and like endurance racing as well.
Yeah, so we have a Trans Am car that we're building up now. We raced it for the first time at Road Atlanta, had a couple issues, decided that was probably where we just take it out for the season and tear it down to the frame and build it back up. So it's actually at my crew chief's house now. It's at my crew chief's house, Tracy Stevens. He's been helping us all the way through my racing career. He's taken it down to the frame almost now, and we're going to do that next year as well as Spec MX5 Cup, and we'll have to see what we're going to do for the Formula Car side. We, with all those other commitments, it's going to be a very tight schedule to do all of them.
Yeah, well, that is Bankin Zelenka right there. That is his first name. He has a pet pig that he brings out to the races. I forget the pig's name. Do you remember what the pig's name is?
I don't.
But that is him in that number 45 there at the grid. I'm going to switch over my radio channel to listen in on race control, see what they're saying. But it is a absolutely beautiful day here at the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course for this Speed Tour event. That's the 17 of Tyke Durst. Tyke Durst ran a great season with us last year. Happy to have him back here this year with Ganella Racing. We were just looking at some of the Ganella crew. Oh, he's wanting to fist bump the cameraman. See, look at that. Some of our drivers don't even give a thumbs up, but he's wanting to welcome George, our cameraman, down there on the false grid. As I see there's some safety equipment still out on track, but the white trucks are coming in, and I think they're going to be open to go out here soon. They will do a formation lap. Yesterday, right when we released from grid, it started raining in the F4 group, and we had a couple cars slicks on the rain at Mid-Ohio, probably one of the slickest tracks that we race. we had, I think, 3 or 4 cars spin or go off on the formation lap. Today, there's no excuses, drivers. It is a beautiful day. I haven't seen any water on the track. The grass is still wet, so if drivers do go off, they're going to go way off because wet grass will just throw them. But I'm sure you've watched and spectated a lot of racing here at Mid-Ohio. This is one of the best spectator tracks. But as a spectator, when you have friends come watch you race, where do you tell them to go watch from?
I always have them go to like 4 or 5 section up there because they can see a good bit of the track right in that section if they're up there on that hill underneath the trees. It's a really nice section to watch from, and that's really where our high speed is. So they get to see us come in at a really high rate of speed and then come down to a really slow rate of speed and get through the corners.
Yeah, we call that madness, that area of the track, and that's probably my favorite spectator track. I did just hear from Scott Goodyear in race control. We are 1 minute on the grid, 1 formation lap to a standing start. I can see Alan, one of the race officials, right across from me with the yellow flag in his hand. And what we do here in F4 and FR, we have race officials about every 10 to 20 feet for the standing start, so that if something does go wrong, they can wave that yellow flag right away so the other drivers are aware that there might be something wrong with the cars ahead of them. And so I'm seeing all of the officials get into place with their yellow flags in hands. I see the light gantries out of our window pulled around, and we see cars going out with sticker tires. They raced all day. The race yesterday was on wets for this group. They did a formation lap on slicks. They changed to wets. They're allowed 2 brand new sets of tires. So it looks like, Austin, correct me if I'm wrong, they're going to get a brand new set for this race and a brand new set for the next race.
Yeah, without qualifying on Friday, that really sort of helped out on the decisions, I guess, for the drivers because, I mean, you get 2 sets, so why not go ahead and use them? Everyone else is going to if you don't. I mean, it sort of worked out for them, but it also doesn't work out for some because they might have had a different strategy they're going to try. Maybe put a new set on for qualifying, put a new set on for the first race, and then use tires for race 2 and race 3, and maybe that would help them win race 1. But it's all up to the teams and the drivers on what they do.
Yeah, so basically there is no tire strategy. Probably everybody's going to go with a new set for race 1, a new set for race 2, and there's Bacon again. You can't miss that car as they come into Big Machine Vodka Spike Cooler's keyhole turn. But Austin, give us your expertise because I see Jonathan Green coming back into the booth. But as a driver, tell everybody what you're thinking right now on this formation lap.
I think about check where the lines are, make sure that there's nothing on the track. I mean, you just had an hour-long race. There could have been oil dropped anywhere on the track. You know, heat up your tires, figure out, make sure there's no oil anywhere. Make sure there's no pieces or parts of those international GT cars anywhere on the track that could get a hole in your tire, you know. And you can always report back to your team and let anyone on pit wall know that there's parts of a car on track, and they'll get it off the track before you take the green flag. That way no one has a chance of getting a puncture. That's like one of the worst things to get when you're doing these sprint races because you'll go almost a lap down if you have to change out a set of tires, or even if you just have to change out one, you're going to go back a far away, and you'll just have to pray for a caution. So, you know, making sure that there's no oil or no debris on the track is definitely number 1 on my list when I'm going out there and I'm warming up my tires and I'm out on my pace lap.
Well, Austin, thank you for coming in with us today. How do you feel about today, given the weather? I'm sure as a racing driver, you get up in the morning, open the curtains, and go, "Oh, thankfully, I can concentrate just on what I'm doing rather than the conditions around me." Much better day for racing.
Yeah, I definitely like the rain though.
Okay.
Here is really tricky in the rain, and so I like racing here in the rain because if you get it here and racing in the rain, you get it, and if you don't, you don't. It's sort of like, you know, you got to figure out where your line is. Some people run a different rain line than you do, and that's okay because sometimes they come out about the exact same time-wise. But, yeah, thank you guys for having me. It was this will be a fun experience.
Not at all. And different, obviously, we're doing now, here's another question for you as a racing driver. We're doing a standing start. Do you prefer the rolling or the standing?
I've figured out how to do a standing start here recently. Like, I'd never done one before, NOLA. So I'm slowly figuring out, like, the tricks to it. I've always done rolling starts, so I'm fairly good at those, but it sort of depends, because if you're on the outside on a rolling start, you sort of have nowhere to go.
Yeah.
If you get a good start here, you have somewhere to go because there's such a big gap in between the cars. You can shoot straight down the middle if you get a good start. It just depends on the driver, I guess, to me.
Yeah. Well, as you can see, the full grid is formed and ready for race 2 here from Mid-Ohio. Michael Costello on the right-hand side of your screen in the blue and black of Jay Howard. Leads from the pole. Alex Berg, his good mate, is right there with him as well, just behind him. But away we go. Not the best of starts from Costello, but he's holding that inside line for now as they head towards the keyhole for the first time. Nice clean start, everybody through the first corner. This a 30-minute race, and now in perfect conditions, we'll see what these guys have got. Costello lost out at the start, now he's trying to come back. And it's nip and tuck going into the keyhole. Let's see if they all come out cleanly, but so far so good. But that's exactly what we wanted, a good clean start to get things going. And Augusto Solo Schripa is the man we're watching out front, doing a great job. And now Alex Berg all over the back of his good friend, his old karting sparring mate, and looking for an inside move at turn 4. That's the obvious place for an overtake, and Berg's looking for it, and he's got it. And that was nicely done. He just needs to keep his foot in. That's good. And Alex Berg goes up to second place ahead of Costello. So Costello going from first to third in a matter of corners. And the race led by, at the moment, Augusto Soto Schripa of International Motorsports. Oh, somebody's spinning there. That's the 12 of Garrett Detman. And hopefully he can get that car going again, because that would be a real shame for Detman. Currently 11th in the championship with just 8 points. And just trying to get an update on the points. But remember, and Austin, I don't know if you're aware of this, they only got half points yesterday. So, you know, I thought Michael Costello was going to leap up the championship. So he's got to kind of do it all again today, because he only got the 12.5. But that happened at Road America as well, and you know that from FR.
Yeah, the half-point deal, it's good for some aspects and it's bad in others. I think it might have been it was sort of an iffy call yesterday. You know, I think it was a good call in some aspects. In other aspects, I think it was also, you know, it could have been perceived as a bad call. I know I've heard F4 drivers not like it, and some of them like it because of having to do the tire change. And I think that's what really drove them to make it a half-point race, is because they had to start off on dries and then they had to switch.
So into the pits comes the number 6 of Frankie Mosman. I'm not sure what that problem is, but obviously pit stop's not a part of Formula 4 Americas. So there must be something wrong, or he's not happy with something. And the race starting to settle down now, but we've got a good battle here, certainly for 4th place. And still a long way to go. How does the car change as the race goes on, Austin? I mean, they all look the same. It's hard to see from the outside, but when you're in the middle of the cockpit, you probably feel a lot more different, right?
Yeah, so, I mean, it just depends on the driver. So if the driver's, you know, spinning the tires on exit or, you know, getting a really hard push, it's going to develop and get worse and worse as time goes on. I mean, if you're spinning the tires out of every corner, your rear tires are going to wear out really quick, and they're going to get too hot, and then you're not going to have grip at all, which is going to be bad for the driver, obviously, and it'll end up slowing them down. So it's all about being consistent, I think, with these guys and not wearing your tires out early. You know, wait till the last 2 or 3 laps, and then you can really start hammering them, because you're not, in 2 or 3 laps, you're not going to destroy your tires. And with these guys, they're getting a new set for the next race. So, you know, even if they do destroy 2 or 3 laps to where, you know, maybe they're not as good anymore, they still get a new set, so that it's not going to affect them in the next race.
We're just watching this battle for the top 10. Hodgson in the middle of it, in the number 30. There he is, just jinking out of that. In fact, that's the 27 of Woods Top, the championship leader. So Woods Top looking to try and go through this field and trying to make up some places. He, of course, the championship leader coming into the weekend. He started the weekend on 90.5 points ahead of Jesse Lacey. Costello started 3rd. Now, that win yesterday, like I said, will have helped him But it won't be enough. He wanted the full 25, so he's probably going to be a bit annoyed, as you say. Some drivers thought it was a good thing, others didn't. And I'm sure because Race Control decided to change the tyres, someone like Costello will be saying, I wish I had those extra 12.5 points because I did win the race. But he's got to do it all again, and he's trying to get on level terms. But this is a good little battle here as Tanner DeFabis of the J. Howard development team, CSU1 Cure, sponsor. So we've got pockets of racing now as they go into turn 1 yet again. Through goes the number 10. Nicely done. Daniel Cara had his best result of Formula 4 yesterday, dear Daniel. So looking to try to do the same, but it always helps a driver confidence-wise when they get a good result in the first race of the weekend. I always think that's the most important race because it sets up the rest of the weekend, doesn't it?
Yeah, if you have a bad race one, you end up getting a bad mindset going into the rest of the races, and it can ruin your whole weekend.
I had a quick chat with Anna Dobson, who started her career in F4 yesterday. Sadly, she had a slight off, nothing to do with anybody else. She just spun around in the wet, and she was so distraught, and I felt for her because she's just turned 15 and finally got a chance to race in this series. So I know that she's glad to be out there this morning for sure, so I wish her luck. But never easy when you're starting out because, as you say, psychologically, you can really get down on yourself because you know how much it costs. That's probably the first time you've had so many people around you at a young age trying to help you, and not that you're embarrassed, but it makes you very self-aware, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, when you wreck, it sort of, I mean, it sets in on you, and you think to yourself, why did I do that?
Yeah.
You know, and everything else. You review your videos, and you just keep watching them over and over and over again in your head, and it does set in. So anyone that, if you can tune it out, it's the best, but yet it's really hard just to tune out.
Yeah, I always used to think, oh my gosh, I feel so embarrassed. I need to buy everybody in the crew a present for all the work they did, and then I let them down. But I got reminded that we work as a team, and we win and lose. So anybody can make a mistake. The driver, unfortunately, is the more obvious one. But everybody's pulling for you, and they just want you to put it out of their mind and get on with it for the next one.
Yeah, we always say you got to push the car to the limits to find the limits type deal, and eventually you'll go over those limits, and it'll cause something to happen, whether it's a wreck or just a spin. But either way, you have to find the limits.
So, Soto Shuriba leading the way from Alex Berg of Canada, Costello of America in third, Woods Toth of Canada in fourth for championship leader. Then it's Cara, Sherlock, DeFabis, Hodson. So DeFabis has dropped a little. Hodson has gained a place or two. He's up to 8. Adams Martinez, the Argentinian, in 10th position. Jesse Lacey of Australia is 11. And the race starting to settle down just a little now. But so far, so good. The gap, half a second or just over for the leader in the number 24. And that's not a comfortable lead, but it's one that he can feel a little bit as though he can rest a little bit. But if I know Alex Berg, who, by the way, got that second place yesterday, that was his best result of the season. So he'll be looking to improve on that. We look at Tyler Sherlock for the first time in the 31, running in 6th place at the moment, just behind Cara. But yeah, I know Alex Berg. He came and commentated here like you're doing today, and he is absolutely hoping, put it that way, to try to go better, get one more and get his first victory in the championship today. Here comes the number 5. Where would you plan an overtake?
Either going down into like turn 4 or, right there in the keyhole is a good one too, because you hard on the brakes and you're late on the brakes anyway. So, and most of the time you go a little wide. So there's a lot of good opportunities to pass here. It just depends because there's a lot of places for the other driver to mess up.
That's a nice move by the 31. Lovely done by Titus Sherlock using the camber of the turn 4 there, which I saw in Trans Am yesterday, and he used that to great effect there on that overtake. Yeah, there's a few places to overtake. Turn 4, the obvious place at the end of the end of the back straight there. Another possibility, I actually saw somebody overtake into the three-dimensional services group carousel coming up now. We're seeing it from high above on the drone. Cara pushing now on Woods Toth. This is good racing between these two. I just saw Scott Goodyear, the race director of both your and F4 races, and he was much impressed with yesterday's performance given the circumstances, because as you know, the rain came down, they put the wets on, and then suddenly it stopped raining, so they're all on a dry track with wet tires. So there was really nothing that they could do about it, but the guys handled themselves well and put on a good race.
Yeah, the good thing about these hand-cooked tires is even when it's getting drier out in the rain, they don't really disintegrate, I guess you could say. Like they're sort of a harder type rain tire,
yeah.
So they can survive in the dry. You just don't want to like do 10 to 20 laps in the dry on rain tires. You know, you want to try to hit the wet patches if you can.
Soto Schreiber then now maintaining that 0.6 lead over Berg. 20 minutes to go. Costello has settled down the pole man, and he's in third now. But this battle between Woods, Toff and Cara may actually bring them closer to Costello. We should have a really good, interesting end to this one. The back gap now between Berg and Schreiber coming down to 0.5. It's only a tenth, but in motor racing, that's significant. You keep an eye on those tenths because they start coming. Now you can see it physically. Here is your leader, and there you see just behind him, in a little glimpse of him, second place. There he is. So you can see that Alex Berg is bit by bit reeling him in. When is the moment when you realize, okay, not I've got him, but I'm gaining on him? And can you see it visually?
Yeah, I always set like a point on the track, like, okay, how far away was I from him at this point? And then the next lap I can look at it again, and I'll be like, okay, I'm closer. So then you know that whatever you did that last lap, you need to do it again because you're obviously gaining on him. As long as you're not like ruining your tires essentially by trying to gain so much time on them, then you're all right. But if you're destroying your tires to try to catch up, it might not be the best because the other driver in front of you could be destroying their tires to try to stay in front of you. And if you just lay back a little bit, you might be able to wait till the end and get them.
Yeah, well, as you could see, Costello, who won the race yesterday, his second career win in F4, is also gaining on Berg, and he's not shy either. He'll want to get as many points as possible, given that there were half points for yesterday's race. So watch out for third place, Michael Costello of Florida. There's the number 20 coming through. That's Adams. Logan Adams, also for Jay Howard Driver Development. And as you can see, the engineer's talking. Do you like to hear from your engineer, or do you like to sort of keep radio silence because you're concentrating?
It depends. Sometimes I like him to talk to me about like the gap in front of me. That way I can know if I'm gaining or losing. If it's like a gap that I can't really judge as far as like it's 2 or 3 seconds in front of me, it's sort of hard to judge at that point because if they break a little bit earlier than you, it's going to look like you're gaining, but really you're not. But if they're talking to me about that, it's fine. But then it's like at some point,
Costello!
Like it clear.
I was just about to say Costello's going to make a move down the back straight, but he tried to make it in the keyhole. He may have lost some time there, but it was an interesting try. He's trying to force Berg into a mistake. Costello now in the draft and will try to get as close as he can to Berg as they come down to this turn 4. The place where you said is the obvious place to overtake, and this could be a textbook Mid-Ohio overtake, and it's going to be. Nicely done. Costello does it with ease. That was lovely. Michael Costello up to second place now, ahead of Alex Berg of Canada.
Yeah, I think Berg just needs to follow him and try to see if he can get second just by following him. Use his draft to his advantage. I mean, that would definitely help him out.
Watching on the pit wall there. And they are eagle-eyed, keeping an eye on the timings and the sector times and the temperatures and so on and so forth. And while this is relatively unsophisticated in comparison, let's say, to IndyCar or Formula One, this is where it all starts. This is where you learn the real art and racecraft of motor racing. How hard was it to get used to slicks and wings in the first time you tried it?
Honestly, I did the F2000, and it was not as bad because it doesn't have as much downforce as like the FR does. It's sort of comparable to the F4.
Yeah.
I did the 2014 USF car for the first 2 years, as well as a Pro Mazda, and then I did the FR last year with Formula Race Promotions, which is really fun because it's only open wheel cars, so you sort of get to learn a lot from other competitors, and there's a lot of competitors because everyone likes the fact that it's only open wheels, so you're never going to have that mixed class with, like sometimes you see Formula cars out there with closed wheel cars, and that's just not safe all the time because closed wheel car, you really can't see a Formula car if they're coming up on you because they're so low.
Yeah, you don't realize until you get into one of these just how low to the ground. It feels actually faster than you're going because you're so low to the ground. You may as well be in a go-kart because you're almost lying down, quite frankly. And now that gap has gone up again between Costello and Soto Schreiber to 1.4 seconds. So he's either reacted to the pressure from Costello, or that battle between Costello and Berg actually slowed both of them down and allowed Soto Schreiber to get away a little bit. I think that's probably more the truth. But he's not out of the woods. I always say 2 seconds is a comfortable lead in single-seaters. Anything under that, and you've got to kind of be wary that it can change in a lap.
Yeah, because, one off, if you walk up and you hit the grass a little bit and you have to slow down to get back on the track, that gap's going to be absolutely gone. And honestly, you might lose the lead even at 2 seconds. But yet, 2 seconds is a good gap because you can still sort of mess up a little bit here and there and still come out all right.
Now, those of you who are aficionados of single-seater racing will be familiar with the Formula 4 and Formula 3 or Formula Regional format. And if you were wondering, it's all identical cars, all Ligier chassis from France, built here in the United States by Max Crawford and his team. And then also all Honda Civic engines. So they've all got identical engines, so no one's got an advantage engine-wise, so it's all about the racing. And now we're getting a really good battle between these three, and mistakes starting to unfold as the pressure starts to show. Who are we watching for? Sherlock in 5th, Cara 6th, Hodgson now up to 7th, so he's gained a place. Lacey's now in the top 10. We're watching this battle here. This is really good. And this is Sherlock, 5th place at the moment. Woods top just in front of him. And Cara right behind him as they come out of the carousel and down past our commentary position and down the main straight again. Good racing. Alex Berg under pressure. So Berg's lost quite a lot of time now in 3rd place. Costello is up the road. He's catching Soto Schreiber. But Berg, I don't know, there must be something mechanical because he was flying yesterday and you can see he's just not got the dominance, and it will look like an easy pass for our championship leader from Canada. Both the Canadians, Woodstock and Berg. But Berg losing out there. Now here comes Sherlock as well. Down the back straight, but he's on the outside. There is a move there, but he's got to keep his foot in now. He's got to be really careful. Here we go. This is exactly what I'm talking about, and he's done it. Nicely done by the 31. You just got to have the confidence to roll around the outside, haven't you?
Yeah, you got to carry a lot more speed in because you're going to have to get it on the exit, and you're going to have to be able to stay up beside him on the entrance. So you got to carry a lot more speed in because you're taking the longer route around the corner. So as long as you carry in a little bit more speed, you'll be able to keep up with them, and then you got to be able to get on the gas earlier than they do. That way you can get the pass done before you get to the next corner. That way you can make a good swing in the next couple of corners and not have any mistakes.
This is another good battle too. Well, this is a replay, obviously, of that overtake, but this battle has been the best of the battles so far. That was the move by Woods Top. Nicely done. And so we await to see if these three can catch up. But I actually think it's going to be a two-way battle now for the rest of this race as we look at the replay. Here's that overtake again, and Austin, just describe how he's used the track there. That's nicely done, isn't it?
Yeah, he can brake later since he's taking a wider line, which will allow him to get an edge going in, and then he's just got to make sure to carry just a little bit more speed since he's taking a longer route around, which he did perfectly.
So then we continue. 11 minutes to go. The gap between, I'm going to keep an eye on it. It has come down to less than a second now. 0.966 at the front. We continue to watch this battle for third. Here's Woods Top and Sherlock going at it for the podium. And I get the feeling, given the results yesterday, Woods Top didn't get the best of results yesterday. He was, down in 5th place yesterday, so he really wants this podium just to kind of keep him steady going into the final race of the weekend and maintain that lead. He's still the championship leader at the moment, but the others are catching, and Costello's the man he's got to watch out for, who's in 2nd and up the road from him at the moment.
Yeah, I think this could shape up to be a good battle here at the end if Costello can get a little bit more ground on him. Once he gets in that draft, he'll be able to gain a little bit more time as well.
Now, I mentioned the engines are all the same, but, so do you really feel that momentum-wise you are going exactly the same speed, so you've really got to use the car, use the tools, as they say, that you've got at your disposal to make the difference?
Yeah, I mean, at NOLA and Road America, we found out we more than likely had a bad turbo, so he changed it out when we first came here. We thought we were going fairly slow on the straightaways as far as, and it didn't have the whistle. So we thought maybe we were having just an engine problem in general, but we took the turbo off last week in our shop, and we found out that our turbo blades were just all dinged up, and it just needed replaced. So when we got here, we replaced it, and yeah, I mean, for these guys, with them not having a turbo, I mean, I think all their engines are fairly the same. You just got to watch how much time you're putting on that motor and how much stress you're putting on that motor. Because you get a certain amount of miles is when they want you to freshen it, and I mean, you might freshen it earlier. That way, you might get more power out of it. You might lose power if you don't freshen it soon enough.
Yep, good call. And that's the difference between, if you like, F4 and F3. That's one of the big differences between Formula Regional and F4 is that you guys have the turbo. Same engine, but with the turbo on it. Here's this move again, and just describe. Same again, turn 4 around the outside. Beautifully done by Titus Sherlock.
Yeah, he braked a little bit later, carried the same amount of speed in as the other driver, and he just got it to stick around the outside.
Yeah, I know that there'll be a grin on the face of Scott Goodyear. Well, not yet anyway, but when he watches it back, he will, because all he's wanted for this year has for these guys to get amongst it, get some racing under their belts, and have overtakes like that. And that's what it's all about. It's all about gaining confidence in the race car. And when it's wet and people are crashing and making mistakes, you can't do any of that. And when you're under caution, well, you're just not racing. And it costs a lot of money to go racing, as you can imagine. So following the pace car is not what the weekend's planned for. It's actually planned for this sort of stuff, which is wheel-to-wheel racing at speed, so that you can get some experience. Lovely shot here of Mid-Ohio. You're listening to Austin Hill, who'll be in action. What's your car number? 8. That's right. Where did you finish yesterday?
I believe I finished 7th. We
okay.
had some setup issues going on when we went out, and we thought we did sort of like a half rain, half dry setup since it was still a little damp, and it ended up drying up after about 2 laps, so it really didn't help us a whole lot. But towards the end, it helped us. We got faster towards the end because that's what our setup's goal was. But, we changed it for today, so hopefully we'll be up front.
And like F4, your starting position for the second race is where you finish, so you'll start 7th?
I believe they're doing it off our best time.
Okay.
So it's...
Do you know where you are?
It's going to be probably right around 7th as well.
Oh, okay.
I mean, everyone sort of finished where their times were.
Yeah.
Other than, I think Oliver is better just because he had a little spin out on the second lap it would have been.
Yeah, Oliver Westling, yeah.
Yeah, he locked up and just went into the gravel trap. So he got a good lap time in. So he'll probably be starting up farther because he got such a good lap in.
Great four-way battle this. Look at this. And this is for the top 10. So it's just as aggressive. And through goes the Argentinian Martinez. Oh, that was almost a touch there. Really good stuff. Really, really close racing. Zelenka in the bright green at the back of this four-way battle. And in the middle, Benitez also there as well. So really good battle. The gap has come down between Soto Sharipa and Costello to 0.7. 6 minutes to go. Austin, are we going to look for a grand finale here?
Yeah, I think once he gets into that half a second margin, he'll start picking up just a little bit of draft, and that might end up helping him gain just a little bit because, I mean, if he's got a draft on that back straightaway, it's definitely going to help him gain because, I mean, not having downforce down the straightaway is going to mean a lot more straightaway speed going through there. And they'll honestly probably help us qualifying time as well for the next race.
Are you enjoying your racing at the moment?
Yeah, we're trying to do everything we can as far as racing, doing a bunch of different series. We're trying to do Trans Am.
Really?
Our car, we're tearing it down for the season. We hope to get it back up and running before the season's over, so we can run it at Coda or any other track that we can get it done in time to race at before the winter break. We're going to do that, as well as Spec MX5 Challenge this year, and anything else that we sort of have time for. We do WRL races if we have time.
Yeah.
I like doing endurance racing. It's fun, and all you're really doing is you're just trying to be consistent. Consistency is key when you're doing that, and you're not trying to push the car to the limit every lap. You're just trying to get the car to the finish line.
Yeah, and endurance racing tends to be at least a situation where you're not pushing the equipment to the absolute nth degree, and also, like you say, it is endurance by the name. You're trying to keep the equipment clean, so you're not pushing everything. A really good battle this. Coming down to the closing stages, 4 minutes, just less than 5 to go, but there's no question that Zelenka, oh no, 0-2 goes off. That's Bowling. That's the young Texan who's just come into the championship this weekend, in fact, and has parked it. That's Jet Bowling, racing for another Crosslink Kiwi Motorsport man. Oh, he's got it going.
Yep.
Good boy.
Let's
see what happens.
Wet. Grass must not be too wet for him to be able to get out of that. Yesterday, they saw one go off there and not get it.
Now, look, there's some body work hanging off that before he goes into this incident. Look, he's got the... Oh, he got... Well, he got hit hard there, didn't he?
Yeah.
Not really his fault.
No, I think that was more of a racing incident. I don't think he really saw the car on his inside, or you might have saw him and just didn't think he was all the way up beside him yet. And I think the other cars sort of came in a little late to the picture.
So we're getting down to the closing stages. Now you see the gap between first and second. And Soto Sharipa and Costello are glued together on track. And this is going to be an almighty battle in the last 3 minutes. So we'll look for the white flag outside our commentary window as they come into Thunder Valley. This could be a thunderous finish. They're getting past one of the slower cars there. And coming into the three-dimensional services group, Carousel. And time running out. I'm just looking to where that white flag might be, but no, I think there might be one more lap before the white flag. There is. But the leaders are now on it. Michael Costello senses the opportunity for another win and the full points this time. Across the strip they come and into turn one. Now, as we've said before, Austin, I'm guessing the key here is to get out of the keyhole as good as you can, as clean as you can, with the best clean drive, and then make the move at 4.
Yeah, I think that's going to be his best option here, because if he does it, going into the keyhole, the other driver's going to get a good draft going down the back straightaway there and be able to get him back in 4. So if you can get him going into 4, you can block him out and make him not be able to pass you going through any of the other corners.
And if you've got real confidence, you go for it on a penultimate lap, because the other thing is, it's all very well to do the overtake on this lap and then be in a position where you could be overtaken. So you've got to pick your moment just right. There's a lot of strategy to this. Yes, the cars are identical, and that means that you don't have many chances to get it right. And you also don't know when leading whether you've got the faster car or you can be faster in the car than the man behind you. And that's all to do with setup and application, obviously. But no change at the moment, but the gap, as you can see, well, you can forget the timing now, you can see it for yourself, and the drone really gives you the illustrations. It's probably, what, 2.5 car lengths right now?
Yeah, I would say he's got, the perfect...
Whoa! Big oversteer there, made big mistakes there. What happened there, do you think?
I think the rear end might have just snapped just a little bit on him, and then he tried to correct it, and it just was an overcorrection there.
He lost some time, that's for sure, and that's making a big difference to the battle that was just ensuing there. But with 1:44 to go, the white flag's still not out, so we're going to have 2 laps yet. So he's got enough time, I would argue, to kind of remedy that big moment. And that was a big moment, but that was very skillful driving. Watch his hands, the Dayglow gloves really help you. But I'll let you describe this, Austin. Tell us what happened.
Yeah, he went in, the rear end snapped around just a little bit, it looks like, and he tried to correct it, and it just sort of slid out on him. I've had it happen to me before there. If you just go in too quick, you're going to end up just sliding out exactly like he did, and it just ruins your straightaway shot here as well because you're not going to be able to set it up right.
Yeah, and if you're watching at home and you've never been in a racing car, you can learn a lot from that, because if you've ever been on ice, that's exactly how you react if you get it right, which is to compensate where the car is going and trying to effectively counter steer away from the slide that you're in and straighten the car as quickly as possible, because obviously it's a missile going in a straight line, but once it gets out of line, you've got to put it back in line.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it could have gone any better as far as saving it. I think he did it just right. It just sucks that it cost him so much time.
Yeah, it did. He was really on for it then. He'll be biting his lip there. White flag is out then with the last lap, and this has been a really good, immaculate performance by the man who led all the way, Augusto Soto Chiripa of Florida, and he really has done a really good job of keeping his head down and keeping out of trouble. He's also dealing with traffic right now. Back comes Costello. This is the last lap. There is a possibility here. He's not quite as close as he was 2 laps ago, but he could still do it.
Yeah, I think his only opportunity is going to be going into carousel. I don't think he's going to have enough speed going in here to Ford, and I don't think he's going to be close enough maybe toward in the back section. But if he gets to the carousel and he's close, he can try to dive to the inside maybe on him and get it done. It just depends on how close he can really get in this section here.
Well, third place, Woods Toft, is getting the better of that battle with Sherlock. They've been swapping third place for the last few laps, but right now it's Woods Toft. That could change, but he has got a second or so on him as we come to the closing stages. But we'll concentrate for this battle for the win, coming into Thunder Valley for the last time. Nothing between these two. But it's going to be a real lunge, and as you say, coming up the carousel, and that's where Costello, if he's going to do it, he's going to have to do it there. But I don't see it happening. No. It's going to be too risky, I think.
Yep, I think he's too far back to make it work unless there's a mistake here.
Whoa!
But I don't.
He thought about it though.
Yeah.
He got as close as he could. Yeah. Well, he's certainly trying, that's for sure. But coming to the line and to the checkered flag, a brilliant run by Augusto Soto Chiripa, who takes the win in the number 24 for the International Motorsports team. And an immaculate performance. He took the lead early on from the pole man, Costello. Costello will be happy with second after that big mistake. And you can see the team are delighted. Woods Toft, the Canadian championship leader, takes third place. There you go. International Motorsports are delighted with that. And they should be. That's a great result.
Yeah, I'd definitely be happy with that after. I mean, that was a green to checkered finish. I mean, they never had a caution.
I know.
That's pretty good.
Compared to what we've had in the last few races, I know that is exactly what F4 wanted, and everybody involved in F4 wanted, because you just want to get as much track time as possible. I talk to young drivers all the time, and they say, I said, what's the key to being a good racing driver? They say, track time, track time, track time. Doesn't matter what you're doing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think any of them have had a stint this long, just due to, like, there's so many cars in this class that, you know, they're bound to have cautions.
Yeah.
And, you know, the fact that they got through a whole race without a caution sort of pushed the drivers to where the tires are going to start to wear out a little bit because they're getting so hot. And it's a 30-minute session on tires, and the tires are supposed to be getting up to temp around lap 5. So that means, you know, after lap 5, all the laps after that, you're just wearing them more and more, and they could be overheating.
Well, let's take a look at some of the highlights then of that race. A massive field, as you can see, of F4 youngsters all fighting for the championship. But it was that man from Doral, Florida, Augusto Soto Chiripa, who took the lead. We had a few offs, nothing too dramatic, I may add, but some great battles, some real wheel-to-wheel battles as well, and some great racecraft involved in some of these overtakes throughout the race. But at the front, it was Costello who moved himself into second place and then went in pursuit, having had a battle with Berg, Alex Berg, the Canadian. Another turnaround here, this time for the O2. No problems there, but it was Soto Chiripa taking a win here at Mid-Ohio in style. Confirmation then, Augusto Soto Chiripa of International Motorsports takes the win for JHDD Michael Costello takes second, and Patrick Woods top for Crosslink Kiwi Motorsport, and then his teammate Titus Sherlock in fourth, Alex Berg fifth, Cara in sixth place, Hodgson seventh, Lacey, the two Aussies, seventh and eighth, Logan Adams also for J Howard Development in ninth, and Alex Benavidez, finishing out the top 10 for Crosslink Kiwi Motorsport. Well, my thanks to Austin Hill. We'll see you in action. We'll let you go and get prepared for your race coming up. I'll come and have a chat with you when you're in your car if you feel like it.
Oh yeah, that's fine with me.
All right, we'll come and have a chat with you, see how you're getting on. But well done to our guys in F4. A really good, clean race and a good example and a good exhibition and illustration of what F4 is all about. More racing to come. We'll take a short break here from Mid-Ohio, and coming up is Austin Hill's race. Look out for the number 8. He's in the mood to race. Join us after this.
Keeping your pride and joy perfect is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Start with Slick Mist Speed Wax. Simply mist on and wipe off for a professional detailer shine. For your tires and trim, there's Lucas Slick Mist Tire and Trim Shine. Spray on and wipe off for better than new look. Then finish her with Lucas Slick Mist Interior Detailer. Just spray and wipe. Easy. Use Lucas Slick Mist Car Care products and she'll never look better. Fast, easy, and professional. Really, it's sort of like having an extra set of hands. Or 3.
Yes. Hon, the WeatherTech's here.
WeatherTech is the ultimate protection for your vehicle. Laser measured floor liners, no drill mud flaps, cargo liner, bump step, seat protector, and cup phone.
What about my car?
WeatherTech.